Welcome to this IU football update. I'm Dave Leno, exclusively for IndianaPublicMedia.org. I'm joined by Inside Indiana Editor-in-Chief Ken Bikoff. Ken, thanks for joining us.
Hey, happy to be here.
Well, yesterday was signing day, Ken. What were your overall impressions? 8 players from Ohio, 4 from Indiana.
I thought that Indiana did a good job of getting guys that they needed, and they've done an impressive job of just raising the talent level of their recruiting classes the last couple of years. And I think eventually, Coach Lynch's plan of redshirting guys is going to end up paying off. And this group that they have coming in next year, I think it has a couple of guys that are going to be able to play right away, a couple of junior college guys, which they really haven't turned to in the past. But now with this group, I think it's a real nice foundation to build on what they've gotten over the past couple of years.
You mentioned 4 junior college guys coming in. What does that say about the state of this IU football team?
Well, it just means that when this coaching staff first came on board from back at Coach Hepp, it's just a situation where they had to throw a lot of bodies out there all at once. Now they've been able to build up that foundation a little bit, but they have had to kind of replenish with the experienced guys, because otherwise all you're doing is building for 4 years and going back to square one. This allows them a little bit more continuity, a little bit more of guys that can come in and make an instant impact. And and they really need that, especially on the defensive side of the ball, both at cornerback and at linebacker.
Bill Lynch said that this is his best recruiting class yet. Do you buy it?
I'm sure that Bill believes that. I really do. And it is a very solid recruiting class, top to bottom. Now the ratings say, it's not a great recruiting class, but I think that's all relative. Relative to Penn State and Ohio State, no, it's not. But for Indiana, it's the kind of recruiting class that they need, and it's also a pretty decent recruiting class considering the fact that Indiana's won 7 games over the past 2 years.
I remember you asked Bill Lynch in the press conference about the state of the team health-wise. There was a couple guys who had off-season surgery, Zach Davis-Walker, and a couple others among them. How are they doing health-wise?
Well, from what I understand, they're doing pretty well. Mitchell Evans is a guy that might end up missing spring practice with a hip injury. He had surgery. They're moving him to safety, which, to be honest with you, the joke that kind of went around last year was that Indiana's best safety was playing wide receiver. He's a football player. He's a guy that's going to be able to come back quickly, and he already knows the position, so that's not going to hurt him too much. And I just think that one is a big move for them, because it's going to shore up that defense, and he's expected to be healthy by the time the fall rolls around.
Let's turn for a minute to the 2010 season. Ben Chappell, just shy of 3,000 yards, had 17 passing touchdowns. What are his expectations for the upcoming year?
Well, I think that he certainly has to do a better job of just managing the game, making plays, especially on 3rd down. And that's something that's going to come up time and time again, but it's going to be set up by the running game. I think the key with Chappell is going to be also the play of Edward Wright Baker, who's a kid that's going to be their wildcat quarterback, is going to give them different looks, and he's going to take a lot of pressure off of Chappell to make some of the plays that maybe he was forced to make last year.
Final question for you, Ken. Last season, 4-8. We're in some great games against Iowa and at Michigan. You have a record for us. What do you think for the upcoming year as far as record and as far as play?
Well, I'm not going to make a call on a record until I see them in spring practice, see a lot of the kids play. But certainly it's a team that learned how to be competitive last year, had some games that they should have won, to be quite honest with you. But they didn't win them. They did learn how to play in those games, how to be competitive. And sometimes those are the steps you have to go through to build your program. So you end up with coming close one year and breaking through the next, and hopefully that'll be where the Hoosiers are this year.
All right, Ken, our very thanks to Ken Bikoff, Editor-in-Chief of Inside Indiana. I'm Dave Leno, and this is IndianaPublicMedia.org. Stay right here for more updates about IU football.